Yo, what's going on? Welcome back. Welcome back to Coffee Break. I took a a short rest last Thursday. Uh, Took a mental health evening, but I'm back. Um, I'm going to have an announcement at the end of the show, but I'm back. Let me see that you're here. Holla back. What up, Kitty Wong? Kitty says, "How you feeling, JN? How was your day?" Well, thank you, brother. It was all right. I cleaned my studio, which was which is a monumental undertaking for me. Maybe we could start there. Um, for anybody that is fortunate enough to have a space that they can call their own, that could be the Harry Potter uh, room underneath your stairs. It could be next to the boiler in your basement. One of my buds in comics, his drafting table was next to the washer and dryer in his basement for a long time. I won't tell you who it was. The kitchen table, wherever it is. Can you? How do you guys work? Do you thrive in chaos? Do you need to keep everything clean and in arm's reach? Do you like a little controlled hysteria in your space? Yeah, what up, D Brad? D Brad says, "Good evening. I've been cleaning my office too." Yo, what up, Jimmy? How are you, brother? Ross, what's up? What up, Mark? How you feeling? Yo, Reagan was pres, but I voted for Shirley Chisholm. I'll feel salty if that wasn't Shirley Chisholm. I didn't look that hard. No, no, notorious. Hey, it's good to see you guys. Yeah, you know what? I think with yo, what up, Amani? Amani, you've been posting some really cool stuff lately. Um, I'm really interested in what you're up to these days. Kitty Wong says, "I need organization for sure. A little manageable stack here and there is fine." Oh, Gwendolyn. Oh, yeah, I guess it is Gwendolyn Brooks. Look at me, showed my butt on live TV. El Jamal, sip of coffee for El Jamal Walton. El Jamal says, "I have organized chaos and I have to clean when it gets too out of control." Yeah, my deal was a little out of control. JRD says, "Got my coffee, got my cookies. Let's go. Let's go." That's what's up. I'm glad that you guys are ready. Yeah, I see a lot of eyeballs watching the show. Where the rest of y'all at? Holla, holla, holla back. Let me see you. Put your hands where my eyes can see. Yeah, it just gets to a point where I can't think clearly anymore, and I gotta clean it. There's a lot of things that are hot, but nothing's hotter than July. What up, Julian? Hey, what's goody? Nah, man, just doing me. You know what I mean? What's good with the fam? Respect to the DMV area, all my people down 95 South. You know how we do. Thanks for joining. Um, yeah, and like I am not a neat freak. Uh, I think there's parts of my personality, call it undiagnosed ADHD, call it whatever you want. I've figured out some things about myself over the years, and one is I'm not good at filing things, right? If I put something, and I don't know if any of you guys want to sound off, if I put anything in a filing cabinet and close the drawer, it might as well has disappeared into like Thanos snapped or something. It's gone as far as the way my brain works. I need to see it and I could have the mound of paper doing the Jenga wobble, and I'll go, oh, there it is, and I know exactly where things are. That's just how I am. I wonder about anybody else you want to share. Yo, what up, Fletch? Fletch says my eyeballs had laser surgery today, and you're watching Coffee Break. Yo, that's much respect to Fletch. Sip of coffee for Fletch. So Coffee Break with JN is a bit blurry. So partially dilated. By dilated peoples. What's up? Well, good to see you. I guess you can't say the same. But yeah, man, rest up, man. If your eyes start to hurt, just shut this off, man, and catch the replay. JRD says, not a neat freak. Hoarders might like a crack at our place after the last couple of years, but I need organization. Now, I mean, that's another thing about me. I've had people say, wow, Jamar, your office is so organized, and I just kind of chuckle like, because just like JRD has remarked about my marker case, which is I put it away for a little bit. All the markers it doesn't matter where the colors are. It's just in the box. That's as much as I can handle. You should have seen I used to have a different type of marker box. It was just like a box with markers in it. You just kind of put your hand in it and just pray. Lining things up by number or color, spectrum order is not how my brain works. It's not going to happen. El Jamal says, if it's filed away, it doesn't exist. Thank you. If it's in a pile on my desk or on my shelf, then I know exactly what. We're kindred spirits, my man. JRD says to Fletch, remember to drop. Don't be like Homer. Oh, that's that episode where his eyes crusted over. Oh my God, it gives me the chills. It's so gross. Deep Brad, what up, Deep Brad? Deep Brad says, I could spend hours looking for a file and find it in my actual file cabinet and a file correctly labeled. Remember that? Should have had a V8. El Jamal says my markers are spectrum ordered. Wow. Yeah, I have some Copics, and they're not in order. They're not in a nice rainbow thing. It's just all the Copics are over there. The Prismacolors are over there. That's the best I can do. Mark says, God help me if I put something in a box. It could take forever to find. You know what? We're talking to our people, right? This is our community here, and it's funny how we all kind of have, in a weird way, these kind of same quirks. And I'm sure the people in your lives, you drive them crazy because our brains just don't seem to work like everybody else's, and that's okay, right? I know where it is. That's all that matters. And there's some things that I just try to do just, to keep sanity. Like if it's a common space, I either keep my stuff out of it or keep it clean. My remote areas when I'm at my day job, they need to be clean because I have to share that space with other people, and I'm not a pig, right? But don't look at my desk drawer. It's a mess. But I know where, you know what I mean? The same thing applies. So I try to be respectful of other people's. If people have to come through my space, I try to make it presentable. But as far as my controlled chaos, it's really a thing. El Jamal says, I have little people that move stuff around and drives me nuts. I bet. I have a dog that takes things. I have to be careful what I leave out, or, you go, especially when it was snowing, I go to put on my coat and like, where's my other glove? Things like that happen a lot. Did I read this? Elgin also says, if it's filed away, yeah, we did. Yeah. But yeah, it seems like that's a thing, right? So for you guys that have really specific ways of storing things or organizing things. What kind of things have worked for you? What kind of hacks have you used that really help you? I remember for a long time, people would talk about the tickler file, right? Having maybe an accordion folder that is set up by the day. It goes from like 1 to 31, and you put your bills in it, and you know how to get to the bills. Or maybe you have like all the stuff color coded, like you have the white envelopes for the rent money, and the yellow envelopes for the groceries, and the red envelopes for Netflix to pay your Netflix bill. I don't know. But sometimes you have to just make a system, and a lot of times that system doesn't make sense to other people, but it's kind of not for them, right? It's for you. So I think going back, one of the biggest things, one of my biggest Moby Dick whale chasing things was trying to find the perfect organizer. I could do a graphic novel about that. How back before all this tech stuff, I thought, you know what? I would be a success. I would figure out the riddle of steel, and what's life universe? What was it, life, the universe and everything? I forget the title. What's the Douglas Adams book? What are the answers to everything? You know what? I need a Palm Pilot. And I probably should have spent my money on something else, but I remember I bought, it was like a lime green see-through Palm Pilot. And if some of you guys are too young to remember that, it was kind of like the first iPod Touch, maybe. It wasn't a phone. It was a electronic organizer. So it kind of almost looked like a Game Boy. Like it was just like this thick hunk of plastic, and it was had one of the first styluses, and you had to. I think you could do a pull drag, and you could put your cookbook recipes in it. That's what they used to advertise. You can put your recipes in it. Your cookbook recipes, your black book, right, fellas? Shorty numbers, all of that in this thing. And it was before the internet, really. I mean, I think the internet was around, but it was before like Bluetooth and Wi-Fi stuff. So you had to sync it to your desktop, and it came with a cradle, and you had to put it in the cradle. And I think the cradle charged it too. I can't remember that part. It might have been one of those first devices that had a rechargeable battery. That was a big deal, I remember. Wait, you don't have to put batteries in it? Oh, you plug it into the wall. Wow, that's amazing. Hey, what up, Mama Carla? Carla's in the house. She said, "What's up, caffeines? Holla back." And I'll shout out the caffeines in a second. And that didn't last long. It was tedious. And I remember I would get resistance. Like I'd visit somebody in New York, and I'm standing like 40 deuce or whatever. And they're like, "Yo, man, I'll be like, "Yo, let me get your math." They're like, "All right, you ready?" I'm like, "Yeah, hold on." Tick, 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 tick. And they were like, "Man, just write it down. Come on, man, I gotta catch the train." Jared says Palm M105. Well, you're a Palm head. Later versions were charged in the cradle. The M100 and M15. Oh, look at this guy. It took double A's. Yeah, I think my Palm Pilot had a battery case in the back. That's really funny. And then hold on. I'm already losing place. Elgin Moss says, "I use Lulu to create my own spiral daily planner. Also a hardcover grid book for programming comics. It allows me to make exactly what I want /need and nothing more." I think I remember kind of like making my own type of thing. There was a point then, since I've worked at colleges almost my whole adult life, I started using a college planner. Kitty said, you did that with New Yorkers, they ain't good at waiting. Yeah, facts. But this was like 2000. Nah, it had to be early then. 99, 98, 96. I don't remember. JRD says, I used to keep all sorts of lists in my Palm Pilot. Now it's all on OneDrive. I tried to get into, what was Evernote? I'd never connected with Evernote. I tried. I even paid for the thing. It just didn't work for me. Oh, so I started using college planners. Now, a college planner, remember you used to go to Staples and get a yearly planner, but the new planners would always come out around back to school time for like the college kids, or I guess maybe high school kids who have stuff to do, where it went from September to May or something like that. And that's perfect. That's exactly how I planned my year, because I went by college time. You know, I have the 2 semesters in the summer, and that's how I plan my life. JRD says, the M100 was 98, the 105 was 99. Yeah. Yeah, I was almost there, right? And then Jamal's got to brand it. So anyway, I started getting these planners. I didn't like the daily part of the planner. You know, when you go, it might have like the year in the front and like really tiny numbers. You can't do anything with that except reference it. Then you open it January 1, January 2, January 3. And then the weekend was always like a little footnote at the bottom of the page. And then you go to the next page, January 7th, January 8th. And my mind doesn't work like that. So what I was always looking for was a calendar, a spread. You open it and it's the month. Like the month is the whole thing. And that's how I see things. January 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I need to see the whole month at a time. That's really how my deal works. So if I couldn't find a book that had the month layout like that, even if it was like small, and then the rest was the day, I never used that other stuff. I would just use the month. And then I was like, why am I buying these books? And I only just use the month part. So I started hacking them. This is around when Moleskines got popular. Like Moleskines have been around forever, but people weren't really using them like that in the States. And you would have to go to like Barnes and Noble, and they had the Moleskine shelf, and people were like, I ain't paying $15 for a sketchbook or whatever it was. But I started to get Moleskines because I liked having the blank space of a sketchbook, but I also like writing notes in something that I could keep and it wouldn't fall out. I didn't like a spiral pad that I could rip things out of. I mean, that's good on a train where you're like, oh yeah, here you go, rip. But then the Moleskines also had little like perforated sections where you could do that. I hope I haven't put anybody to sleep talking about calendars. Now, let me just fast forward. Oh, so anyway, I started hacking the Moleskines where I would buy the yearly calendar, take the month part out, and then hot glue it, or however I glued it, put adhesive into the Moleskine, so I would make a yearly Moleskine. And then they started doing stuff like that. And then around that time, I think I started using Gmail Calendar, Google Calendar, and that was kind of it. Just because I was always, and it was almost kind of like a ritual. And now I know people we've kind of gotten to the same thing with like bullet journaling and things like that. But yeah, let me take some comments here. Mark, I didn't forget you. Mark says, I have a drawing table and there's an attachable art shelf for my markers and art supplies that I've had for almost 15 years, and I still haven't gotten it attached because that would require drilling holes in the table for the screws, nuts, and bolts. Yeah, I feel your pain, man. That's funny. Fletch said Trapper Keeper. Yeah, I remember Trapper Keepers. JRD says, I have a list in my calendar for every bill's due date. Every Monday, I pay all the bills due over the next 7 days. Look at that. That's very organized. Yo, real rap. There's nothing like a sexy calendar. Oh my goodness. I've spent so much money on notebooks and the perfect organizer. Suze, hey y'all. We were in spaghetti coma and are late to the party. You survived spaghetti-itis for me. I'm very, very humbled. Thanks for joining us. Good to see you. Elgin Moss says, if I don't write it down, then it doesn't enter my headspace and I forget it. Yeah, writing it down is real. We could talk about this for the whole hour, but I don't know if I want to do that to you guys. Let's do an ID. You're watching Coffee Break with JN, with your boy JN. You know, I don't like saying your boy. There's so many people on YouTube who have like little shticks, like, yo, it's your boy, holla back, blah, 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 blip, 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 blah. And I guess I have my shtick anyway, but we're friends already. I don't have to say that. Some call me PM John. It's still funny to me. Some call me the Kevin Bacon of comics. I've been using that one a lot lately. My government is Jamar Nicholas. JN is on everything. It's my two initials of my name. I'm the guy that breaks the alliteration on pencil to pencil because my first and last name don't match. Much unlike Brett Blevins and Mike Manley and Art Adams and all these people we have on the show. That's right, I'm Jamar Nicholas. I'm such an odd duck. Welcome. What is Coffee Break with JN, you ask? Well, I'll tell you. You get to watch me, award-winning cartoonist Jamar Nicholas, run my mouth and drink coffee. And when I'm out of coffee, you know what happens next. JRD says, I love how Mike just sighs and waits for the nickname portion of pencil to pencil to pass. D. Brad says, I like to tag Kevin Bacon of comics. Well, it's true. I'm just saying. That's not a humble brag. It is what it is. Yeah, right? No, we didn't say that yet. We're getting there. But you know what? Here's the thing. I think we talked about that on the last Pencil to Pencil. It's like, you know what? I don't have a job. None of us have jobs on the show. But my intention is to connect with people, bring them in, hook them in, let them know that they're among friends, right? That I am a gregarious sort that can think on my feet, right? I don't have notes. I don't have a script. I'm not pacing in my office before we go on thinking about what I'm going to say. I just do it, right? We just Nike out here, right? So I come off the top, you know, want this to be entertaining, but not corny, right? I don't do corny, right? You know, I try to keep it light, keep it brisk, but also, you know, it's my personality. It is what it is. Nah, I don't mess with the government, but that's funny. Deep Red, oh, you said that already. Yeah, man, it takes all types, right? And also, you know, like I said, I want people to understand. This is another thing I say all the time. Even all my little nicknames and stuff, they all kind of come from a place of truth, right? The Johnny Carson thing, even though there's a little Philly play, I'm a host, right? I talk to people. I say that's wild stuff, right? And people respected Johnny. Johnny was the dude in Hollywood. If you got on Johnny Carson, you made it. So I think that's cool. Black Dick Cavett, right? Dick Cavett was another really hilarious person, but also was a great interviewer. We were talking about Jimmy Fallon, and no knock to Jimmy Fallon, whatever, but there are people who can't stand Jimmy Fallon show, and because he's not Johnny Carson, right? And you have to understand that, like, what I respect about Jimmy Fallon is that he has totally leaned into his gifts, and his gifts are not being able to stop laughing. Everything's funny, and he hangs out with his famous friends and plays games because he's not a good interviewer. If you I tried to watch Jimmy Fallon do a serious interview, they always fall apart. So, let's bring out Bradley Cooper and put on funny hats. Okay, you know what I'm saying? But this is what I do. See, Jerry Kraft, award-winning Newbery Medal honor around his neck, wherein Jerry Kraft says, I didn't feel like I made it until I got on Pencil to Pencil. Those are facts, bro. New York Times bestsellers saying that. They say that in the streets, yo. Kenny Wong says, if you make it on Pencil to Pencil or anything JM puts out, you know you made it in the comics. Real rap. I need my wave brush. Real rap. Don't forget it. Yo, what up, Jeffro? Capo of the Philly Cartoonist Society, Jeff Kilpatrick. What up, brother? Good to hear your voice in the studio painting. Man, I love you so much, man. Sip of coffee for Jeffro. Thanks for stopping by, bro. Right. So, I don't have to talk about my pedigree, right? But, and this has come up a couple of times about how I'm a staunch defender of our spots. We had a really interesting Pencil to Pencil last night. I don't know if you checked it out. If you didn't, go if you're watching on YouTube after you're finished with this, go back and watch it. Or if you're a Facebook fan of ours, go down. The Facebook page is a mess, man. I wish they'd make that better. But yeah, you can go to the video section. You can see all of the Pencil to Pencil videos we did starting from the beginning of April, at the beginning of the pandemic. So there's over probably almost 100 hours of content right there alone. Come on, bro. But anyway, so we had a really interesting boot camp, and we had planned to kind of do or maybe I had planned. Mike and I didn't really talk about it that much. I always have my pencil at the ready. I had the tablet ready to go, but boot camp turned into an actual boot camp. There's strong opinions, and there was a lot of tough love happening in the room. And I hope that people got something out of it if they watched it. One thing that I could say without any spice is that, and I kind of referenced this last night on the show, is that I think there's a danger of enjoying all of this YouTubery and iTunery, and all this kind of public podcasting and webinars and TED Talks and quadruple speed drawing videos and Jim Lee drawing with 1,000 people's comments rolling up the side of the screen, where you kind of get not desensitized, but it's kind of like, well, these people aren't really human, right? This is just magic tricks that I get to watch. And it kind of like I feel like you kind of lose the essence of real humans doing real jobs and being human. So when Mike and I have these kind of conversations about like basically how the wristwatch works, and I've used this reference before, you know, if you want to know what time it is, you look at the watch and it tells you. But if you take the face off and you see all those little tiny gears in there, that's probably a little bit too much for most people to be interested in. So when we take the face off of the watch and really get into it, a lot of people are like, whoa, 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 whoa. I just really like Wolverine. Can you not do all of that? It's, it almost comes down to the same thing of, hey, you know what? That's great and all. You have, a charity and all that, but just dunk the ball. That's all I care about. Right. And I'm not going to dunk the ball on the internet. You're going to get the real stuff from me and from Mike and from Brett. All right. You guys like that YouTubery and iTunery. And JRD, you keep doing that wink, man, but you keep saying it. I think you, I don't know. I feel like did you get your toast burned last night? Don't take it like that, man. It's all real. It's all real talk. And, I have shouted JRD out from the rooftop since we started hanging out. JRD's a great dude. His family's great. He's doing a lot of really amazing stuff where he's leaning into his talents. You're a pro, so cut it out. Right? Really what we're talking about, and this came up, was the idea of there being a ticking clock on an artist, mainly comic books. We're talking about comics making into the business later in life. And it's hard. It's really hard. It's not impossible, but it's hard. And, I even pulled out the iceberg reference last night because stuff's hard. Right. So, I don't even really want to call that tough love. It's just, it is what it is, bro. You've made it. You have fans. You have Patreon. You're doing good stuff. People love your work. What else do you need? Jeff says, Mike has been giving real advice to me since the first time I met him. Yeah, he's a teacher. Yeah, love it. So, and what I'm getting at is, with all the YouTubery, you like that. We're always coming up with new stuff on Coffee Break. Is that I think we've run the risk of being kind of desensitized to motivational speaking. I don't feel good. I'm going to click on this video where somebody tells me, you can do it. You can make it. You can climb up that hill. You just gotta push. You gotta push down deep. Yes. But they don't really talk about the work part. Like, all that stuff is great. Right? One of my favorite motivational speakers is E.T. the Hip Hop Preacher, not the alien, Eric Thomas. Look him up. He's amazing. Just imagine like your uncle screaming on you in the hallway and that you got to get your act together. And you're like, everybody needs that word once in a while, right? That word. But if you kind of get into a feedback loop of always just kind of looking for the good feeling dopamine spike, it starts to lose something in the translation, right? That goes back to when we were talking about binge watching TV, and I can only watch 2 episodes of something, then I got to turn it off because now I'm not really invested in it, I'm not paying attention. And I think you watch enough, hey guys, here's a sped up tutorial how I drew the Justice League in 15 minutes. And you're like, yo, that's amazing. I can draw the Justice League. Now you still got to work. You still got to do all that years and years and years of the iceberg and buy the camera and buy the soft lights and the microphone and put all this stuff in your apartment and then press record and then do that. I guess that's the power of the magic trick of all of this, is that I think people kind of just think all of it's easy. I don't know. I feel like I'm leaning on that a lot. I say that all the time. Oh yeah, Art Baltazar. That's what I'm talking about. I got superstars up in here. Superstars come to Coffee Break with JN because that's the kind of content I'm bringing. That's the star power of the Kevin Bacon of comics. What up, Art? Multi Eisner Award winning Art Baltazar. Oh yeah, Art. Oh, all right. Oh, you're a good man, sir. Yagams. I love it. I love the culture. You know what I'm saying? It's just, come on. JRD says Mike was laying down hard talk without clarifying that he meant comic books specifically, not art in general. Took me a while to realize where he was going. All good here. Well, I don't know. And, kind of like in the middle of it when we were kind of untangling everything, is, you know, all of this shit is hard. And, and I told a story about how I was like cutting school in college because I didn't want to deal with my really mean art teacher. And that's something I had to get over. Right. And I think that's a really good lesson for anybody that's kind of like, well, and I'm not talking about you, JRD. I'm just talking about people in general, whoever's receiving these messages from the Black Dusty Roads, Jamar Nicholas, unpack that one, is that I don't think anybody here would waste their time. Let me rephrase that. I wouldn't waste my time getting on here to tell people they suck, or that you can't do it, or hey, you might as well give up. You're never going to make like. And most artists that do things in a teaching mode aren't there to discourage. That does happen. And I think people who are bent that way or wired that way they think their discouragement is tough love. But, and I said this on the show, having shitty teachers that tell you to, just rip up your work and throw it in the garbage is not, that's like abusive in a way, right? But I also don't think the alternate is a pat on the head, right? I call that, if any guys have ever heard this one, that's nice dear syndrome, refrigerator moms. Hey, look, I drew this thing. Oh, that's great. Let's pin it to the fridge. Like, you didn't even look at it. Well, no, that's so great. You're fantastic. You did that. That's not helpful either, right? So it's got to be it's got to be. We've heard people say, well, you don't take everything somebody says from a critic face value. You take what you can use, or you take pieces of it and then you apply it to your situation. So, like one of the best things I like about having crits, or even going to art school, or having art lessons, or having art class, is the critique. The critique is probably one of the most important parts of going to art school. If you go to art school and you hated every part of it, but you had a crit, you've probably learned something about yourself. One, that you can put your work on a wall with a bunch of other people's work and see that not everybody's got it figured out yet, right? Or there's probably always that one kid in the class that's dope, or the teacher loves their stuff, or they can do no wrong. They still haven't figured it out. And how to take criticism, right? The internet is full of criticism, but this is a little different, right? And I don't know. I guess it's just not about the feel good. And I also, think that us being human, I think no one should be surprised that we have strong opinions, right? So I guess take from that what you will. Kenny Wong says last night's boot camp was really necessary. Thank you, K Dub. We all need to hear it, no matter how difficult it sounds, but it's supposed to also challenge us, make us think and reflect hard, or else how can we get better? Word up. Myra says, just when I get coffee, I tune in just in time. Ha! Nice to see you. Hey, what's going on? You're one of my new favorite people. Great to see you again. Peloton. I missed that. Are you guys talking about something in here? I'll take a swig of coffee for Art. See, Art Baltazar does a swig of coffee. I do a sip of coffee. Sip of coffee. Oh yeah, Art. Jeffro says, I constantly have this conversation with young students. There's no shortcuts. No shortcuts, fam. JRD says, I would have quit long ago if I didn't want to do the work. So no, I wasn't insulted or offended. More just, oh man, I'm already old. Yeah, man, we're the graybeards now, bro. Like, I said this on, it was one of the Pencil to Pencils, and I can't remember who was on it. It might have been Tom Whalen. I can't remember. But I said, you know what? I'm closer to 50 than I am to 40 at this point. We're all the old gray beards, and we're it, right? And that's not, I'm not saying I'm amazing. I'm not amazing. I do my thing. But it's like, I think in our heads, we all kind of have this memory, if you grew up like this, sitting somewhere and looking through a Marvel comic and going, oh man, that's amazing. And now you're those people who make this stuff, and people are like, oh man, Art Baltazar is amazing. Right? And Art's sitting in the studio painting every night like, oh man, I need to go to bed. Right? There's no more wishing that one day we'll get there. You're there already. So now it's kind of, what do you do with it? And this is interesting. I was reading this book called, I always mess the title up because I haven't internalized it, called The 16th Minute. So basically what it was is, like the old Warhol quote is that everybody will have 15 minutes of fame. And that thing has totally blown out the window since the internet began, especially YouTube and TikTok and all that other stuff. But say you make it, or say you're, whatever goals you set for yourself, you've achieved them. Now what? Then what? What's the next one? Right? And what do you do with that? Right? I think that's a really interesting line in the sand with a lot of people, where you're stuck between not believing that you're actually in that spot. That's like a grass is greener thing. Oh, you just one more thing. I have to sell one more thing. I have to go to one more show. I just need one more movie deal. I just need, you know what I'm saying? And you don't even believe it yourself, which makes you not enjoy any of the spoils of your career. Or you may be stuck in a place where your crew or whoever you've surrounded yourself with don't want to celebrate you either, or want to keep you down. That's real, right? There's, not to talk about crabs and stuff like that, but that exists. That's a thing. That's resistance in its own way. How do you manage that, right? So, none of us are getting any younger. Oh man, let me get to some questions. I'm just running my mouth. Let's hear it for the graybeard. Elgin Ball says, you're the graybeard. I have hair dye. No, man. You know what? I love my gray hair, bro. I earn every one of these gray hairs. But I respect your dye game. Jeffrey says, I just laughed out loud at the Dusty jokes. You're my American dream. Thank you, Jeffro. The Bullet of Woods, if you will. Bros, what up, Bros? Bros says it's like that everyone can cook part from Ratatouille. Doesn't mean anyone can cook as well as everyone else, but that anyone can learn to cook well if they want. I don't remember that part. I just remember the rats in the kitchen part, but I agree. Whatever you said, I agree, sir. Mark says, working as an editorial cartoonist has been interesting. Hate mail and negative reactions are part of the course. For the course. That's how you know you're doing it right. You know what else is right? Well, I gotta find a good one. You know what else is right? You know what it is, Suze? The caffeines. You know who you are. Friends and regulars, never decaf. Because right, Jamal, decaf is for company. We ain't drinking decaf up in here. of Coffee Break It with JN. The caffeines are my day ones. The caffeines are my Friends of Jamar fan club folks from back in '99 when I rocked the T-shirt with my face on it. There are people that come to this thing every week so we can grind it up real nice, kick it, to chop it up, to parlay, to have parley, whatever you want to call it. It's a thing. Love you all. Oh, man. All right. I got to stop talking and just read these things. Oh, Kenny Wong. K Dub says, even the greatest masters never stop learning. They always remain a student for life. That's a real thing. And I remember telling young people a couple of things. One of my favorite things to say is don't trust anybody that wants to be the boss. Most people who are the boss are the boss because they have to do it, or no one else is going to do it. Anybody that wants it, you got to kind of watch out for them, right? Because they may not have your best interests at heart. But also the thing about being a student, if if you think you've made it, you've mastered. I finished the internet. That commercial I talk about. You gotta be wary of those people, because we all want to keep learning. We all read art books. Kenny Wong's got a crazy art book collection. There's always somebody that's dope that you haven't found yet. I love it. And even if you have your own style or your brand, you're still like absorbing influences. So yeah, you never stop learning, y'all. Mama Carla says, now that we have, nice little heavy D in there. Kenny Wong says, the cool intellectuals and creative cats all come chill here because this is where the real party is at. Yes. We haven't done a Soul Train party in a while, Kenny Wong. We'll have to get the Patreon Discord back up. JRD says, speaking of stuff, hell, those daily posts asking folks what I should draw, not just my driving. Oh, shit, sorry. Not just me trying to drive traffic to my Patreon. I'm using those suggestions to try and keep me challenged. As an artist, by drawing stuff out of my comfort zone, always keep learning. ABC, always be closing. Always keep learning. So you know what? How about this? Let's do some sharing is caring. Anybody that has a website who's watching live, or as a Patreon, or as a Ko-fi, whatever they call those, or GoFundMe, put it in the chat so you guys can share business cards. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. This was good for me. I'm really in the middle of deadlines. My Scholastic stuff is real. A lot of work ahead of me, which may affect Coffee Break. I'm thinking very hard about putting a cork in Coffee Break for a couple of months. I don't want to. I may have to. I figured I'd get on here and talk about it, just because there's some nights that after I do Coffee Break, I'm kind of just like, and I don't really kind of snap back into the table. That's all my issue. It has nothing to do with you guys. And I don't want to make myself get behind on things. This is always fun, and I do this to be with you, not for myself. I wonder, yeah, see, what up, Big Joe? Deadlines is real rap, right? So I wonder if there's people out there who's like, yo, this dude's always on the thing. Every time I turn on the thing, there he is. Good. But also, I don't really do this for my health, right? I do this because I miss you. And I miss discourse, and I miss, as a lot of you guys know, sitting somewhere with a coffee with my leg folded and having a chat. Right? That's JN in a nutshell. And since the pandemic and since all these things, don't really get that anymore. So this is good for my soul. I know a lot of you guys look forward to these things. I know there's some people that just want pencil to pencil. Pencil to pencil won't stop. I have a commitment to do the P2Ps. I'll do the P2Ps, but I'm not sure if I can do the P2Ps in a coffee break the next night. So, but I mean, the good thing is that I'm still around. I have not done an internet break in a while. I did one when I was really deep in Fist Stick Knife Gun. I didn't do one when I was doing the Leon book, but when I did Fist Stick, it got real, real dicey and heavy. And I had editors that were making me print out my manuscripts and drive them to the FedEx so they could be in Boston by Monday. I was like, can't I just email this stuff? Like, no, it needs to be in the FedEx on the boss's desk on Monday, right? So like I had zero space. I also wasn't doing all this internet stuff, but if that happens, I'll let you know. But I'm easy to find. For a lot of you guys, just hit me up. The caffeines know how to find me. I'm not hiding. But I'm not sure I can commit to being on camera and like not doing my other stuff, because what I said about the dominoes 2 weeks ago. You only have 24 dominoes a day. We're just getting some really nice things. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate that. Everybody's very, very respectful and understanding. Right. We'll see. We'll see. It really just depends on where everything goes and how I'm getting there and what my mental health is like. But, at the end of everything, you're going to get a dope new book that hopefully will help out some kids and, put another mark on the world, put my dent in the earth. And also, there's a year and change, almost 2 years of replays you could watch. It's really funny to look at some of the old coffee breaks when I was like hella close to the camera talking to you, to this magnificent, well-produced thing that we have now. Yeah, Joe, about hard-working man. Sip of coffee for Big Joe. Right. So we do what we got to do. We're adults. That's a lot. Nice. Look at it. He's a poet. Didn't even know it. Deep breath. Thank you, sir. I'm looking forward to your book. Thank you. I appreciate that. And there's more to come. What's really important to me is that I'm enjoying the process. One thing, and that's one of the reasons I started the Patreon, is that, and I've gotten into some debates with some of my patronuses just about my levels of art sharing on the internet versus doing other things, right? And I really am like holding fast to that whole dominoes thing. If you weren't here or didn't see it, I kind of remarked on this YouTuber, Casey Neistat, who had a video about, he visually laid out his day with 24 dominoes, and each domino represented an hour. And he spray painted them different colors. So the red dominoes are work. And then these yellow dominoes are his family. And then the other part is sleep. And that's kind of it, right? So you can't add another domino. It doesn't work like that, right? So you just got to be careful. So, but I appreciate that, you guys. I'll keep you posted. Um, and one other thing is that I haven't been doing a lot of pushes for my Patreon. It's not about that. I'm not going to hold anybody hostage. Like, hey, I'm not going to be on coffee break, but you can come to my Patreon. Like, I'm not shilling for any of that stuff. You know where to find me if you're interested. JRD says I adapted that domino theory to work for me. Isn't that interesting? And I would show the video. I don't want to get a strike on because this is on YouTube and his thing's on YouTube, but you can find it. Just put in Casey. Well, he's got a long, weird name. Just put in Casey Neistat dominoes. Myra says, on the subject of art school, out of those 4 years drawing my brains out, the most challenging project was writing and illustrating a children's storybook. We all underestimated the process. Yeah, it's like for some reason people think kids stuff is easy. Kids stuff is not easy. Well, we've said a million times, none of this is easy. But yeah, I could see people kind of like getting caught up. And this was interesting. Somebody said last night on Pencil to Pencil about, I think Manley said something about, the making a 3-point shot from the half court or something like that. And then somebody said, you know what, you have a better percentage of making a half court 3-point shot at the Wells Fargo Center than drawing a 22-page comic book. Yeah, right. JRD says you have done 7 picture books and at maybe 2,000 words max. They are HARD, right? Yes, dope new book at the end of the tunnel. Can't wait. I'm so excited. Right, and this is just the beginning. I got to keep myself healthy so I can keep doing more books. I want to live a life where I'm not stressed out all the time. I'm not tired all the time. I want to enjoy the process. I've spent a big chunk of my life just getting it in under the wire. And I don't want to do that anymore, right? I want to enjoy what I'm doing. I want to smell the roses. I want to walk my dog. I want to put on my sunglasses and, and stunt, right? You should want all that stuff for yourself and not all about the grind, the hustle. Because we already hustled this hard to get to where we are. There's got to be a point where you get to enjoy some of it, right? So do that for yourself. Let's think about, instead of trying to stay up until 6 a.m, go to bed. Go to bed, get a good night's sleep, drink water. Swab, y'all know about Swab. Sip water and build. Shout out to Khalid and Samax. My man Scott Kurtz. Right? It's just like this is an era of just taking care of your stuff, man. I remember when I was younger, I thought the most romantic thing to do was just to drop dead over your drawing table. Like, that's a cartoonist way out. What a statement. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. And I've gotten arguments with some of my comic book friends. It's like, I love it. I don't love it like that. I want to enjoy things. I want to enjoy family and enjoy talking to you guys, right? And if I'm all stressed out and not sleeping and drinking too much coffee break with JN, nobody wins. JRD says, I mix the domino theory with the Picasso schedule, and I'm getting more done and getting a little more sleep, weirdly. I don't know about the Picasso thing, and I'm running out of time, but maybe you can talk about that real quick while we start wrapping up. I got a lot of coffee, so I'm going to try to drown this, and we're going to start getting out of here. I hope this was good for you. It was good for me. Chef said me too. They died in a family funeral bar fight. That's so Philly. Right? It's just like, I don't know. Just be happy, yo. I think it's hard to. I think this is really hard to digest sometimes when everybody's running a race against something or somebody or something in their head, which isn't really realistic. Kenny Wong says we are having a Caffeine's Leon release party with everyone to celebrate you and Leon when it's close. I love it. Yeah, man. And probably when the book releases, we hopefully will be in a better place in the world. So maybe we could do a caffeine meetup. How cool would that be? JRD says Picasso woke at 9 or 10, relaxed until 2, worked until 6, relaxed until 10, worked until 2, then went to bed. I like that. It's interesting that he kept it very. It's almost like structured rest, structured cruise control, structured work, structured relaxation. You have to like. I got a timer right here. I got my old kitchen timer that I have to set this up. I'll put 22 minutes on here just to focus on something. When that's up, pencils up, right? Try whatever trick in the book you need. Yes, Suze. He's wrapping up, y'all. Say his goodbyes now because Jan says peace out and is gone. I love it. El Jamon says, yo, wherever the meetup is, I'm there. Yo, it's lit. That'll be cool, guys. I hope that we can do that. That'll be really cool. This has been a long road, and this is just the beginning. That's the coolest part about all of this. So, yeah, this was good for me. I'm gonna shut this off in a second. Get back to the desk, back to the drawing. It's really good to hear from you guys. Thank you so much. Let me give a shout out. I haven't done a shout out to my GLOs. Good looking out. It's my GLOs on my Patreon. They give me $2 out of their hard-earned paycheck every month just to support the kid. You know what I'm saying? I respect you. I appreciate you. Shout out to all my patrons. The love is real. I got some really cool things going out the door. My make tier is popping. I've been really excited about it. 2 or 3 months. I've been sending out really nice stuff. I got the envelopes right here. Right here. I got a new joint dropping this weekend. So thank you for all your support. Jeff says, Jamar, love you and your folks. Thanks for the hope. Gonna go back to the music. Yes. Miss you, Art. Yeah, I love it. Thanks, guys. I'm still trying to drink this coffee down. Water, yes. After the coffee, water. Thank you, bro. I got more stuff coming. K Dub says sending you lots of creative juice and love, JN, and love to everyone in the caffeine fam. Love y'all. Yo, we gotta get those coffee mugs. I might need somebody to help me with these coffee mugs. Jamal, holla at me. I need to do these coffee mugs. Yeah, okay. All right, you guys. You've been watching Coffee Break with JN. You may know who I am, Jamar Nicholas, Philadelphia's favorite son. The black dusty roads. Oh, look at the purple. That's nice. That's a good Kirby hands right there. We don't do Kirby hands on there. Black Dick Cavett, PM John. Your internet best friend and safe space, Jamar Nicholas. And not only am I smart, I'm handsome. Not humble. What happened here at Coffee Break? Well, I hung out with my caffeines and we talked about that good stuff. We shared some laughs, shared some tears. And we also watched me drink coffee. But you know how this goes. It's so sad. When I'm out of coffee, the video's over. Have a good night, guys.